Hello and welcome to the Expert Zone live videocast. I am your host, I'm Hannah Dethridge, and you will notice that our regular host, Tom Mosley, is not here. He has given up his spot today for the lovely Monika Merger, so we can talk all things gaming as we usually do, but also celebrate International Women's Day. Hey, Monika.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from, what you do, and all of that.
So, hello, I'm Monika. I'm one of the evangelist team. So it's me and Hannah representing the team today, and I do everything. Just a little bit of everything. So recently, I've been doing a lot of design for the team for different projects, for uniforms, for swag that we create, for some prizes that are on Expert Zone. So loads of different bits and pieces.
Awesome. Thanks, Mon. So today, me and you, we are a force to be reckoned with, really, as we celebrate women, we celebrate individualism, we celebrate what it is to be an inspirational human in the tech industry, and particularly in gaming. Are you looking forward to it?
Yes, I mean, no pressure. I mean, inspirational. I mean, oh my God. I mean,
you're an inspirational woman, Monika.
Okay. I'm just gonna have a tea. Just to calm down.
You do that. Awesome. Well, before we get into it, because of course we're going to have two guests with us today, that's going to be really fun. Let's jump into the chat and see who is with us today. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top. We have Mr. Tom Mosley, who's in the chat. Hello, Tom. We have James Guru. He's lurking. He's here. We have Derek. We have Daggercast. So hi to Adam. We have Microsoft Expert Zone. Hello. We have Nightbot, always here in our times of need. We have Hey DJ. Hey DJ. Hey. We have Lover of Tech. Hey, Lover of Tech. Hey, Ben. I'm starting to learn everyone's names, which is great. We have Harry. We have the Name Palm Poet. We have Michael Chadwick that says, hi, Hannah and Monika, and happy International Women's Day. Yeah.
We should be drinking champagne. I'm just saying.
I know. This is the third time you've said that now. And we have Dazzler at the end that I didn't shout out. Hello. So everyone's in. Everyone's ready. And, oh my God, the stragglers are coming in, guys. The stragglers are here.
Gregson is on. Oh my God. We have to be here now.
Nichols, the straggler. Thank you all for being here. So, it's going to be a nice one. We're going to be talking about International Women's Day, and we're going to be talking about a whole host of inspirational women, because it is important that we as women in this industry, Monika, that we celebrate each other's achievements, right? And we choose to challenge all stereotypes and bias so that we can forge a gender equal world together.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
That's what we're all about.
Yes.
Awesome. So should we get our guests in?
Yeah.
See who we've got with us today. Okay.
Drum roll.
Drum roll. I like to introduce people in with an alliterational fashion. So let's go first. We will go with, please welcome to the stage, the joyous Jessica Jane is here. Hey, Jess. Oh, Jess. Oh, there we go. It was like, you can't unmute Jess because Jess chose to mute herself. Oh, God.
How about that? Hi. I like Joya.
The joyous Jessica Jane. So, Jess, please tell us who you are, what you do, and I want you to give us an inspirational woman from your life, somebody who's inspired you.
Okay. So I'm Jess. I work as a territory manager on the Microsoft field team, and an inspirational woman in my life. The first one that I have to go with is obviously my mama, just because, rocking the mums, having awesome women as your mum's bringing you up. But if I have to go with someone that's not me mum, I would go for Taylor Swift, and it's so cliche, but just because she's just awesome.
You love Taylor Swift. Whenever I see on music streaming platforms Jessica Jane, she's always listened to Taylor Swift, and I like that. And I hope you're always pumping a fist.
Have you seen her documentary on Netflix?
Yes. Oh my God, it's so good. I've watched it like 5 times.
I was really surprised. I actually watched it over the weekend. just it popped up on my feed. I was like,
Mm.
oh, okay. I had no idea.
Yeah.
No,
She's awesome. So.
Oh, that's nice. We like to learn about our guests on the show. So let me go from a joyous Jess to the next guest who is with us today, who is what's my word? There it is. It's the astonishing Alicia Smith is in the house. Hey, Alicia.
Amazing.
Let me.
that was
We're there. We're in. Hi, Alicia. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. How are you guys?
We're good. We're ready. We're feeling inspired. I've been listening to the Sugar Babes and Spice Girls, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, that's great.
Please, Alicia, tell us who you are and why you've bestowed your presence on us today.
So I am the regional manager in the Southwest. So I manage some of the TMs on the account. I also project manage some of the stuff going on. And recently, so you guys would have, you know of it, right? The Xbox launch we had last year. So I project managed that going into retail. So that was pretty exciting.
Awesome. And please give us an inspirational woman from your life.
Ooh. So probably my best mate, she's in the Navy and she's a medic. So at the moment she's working in hospitals and stuff like that. But I love hearing about all the travels and stuff she does all over the world and that. And I find her pretty inspiring, yeah.
Oh, that's
wow.
Awesome.
Amazing Navy. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Is she watching, Alicia?
No. I know, but we've also got that type of friendship that if she was watching, she'd be like, "Shut up."
Well, we'll say hey anyway in case she goes back on the
She'll watch it later.
Monika and people in the chat, please put in who the inspirational women are of your life. Please put it into chat. Monika, who is yours?
Okay, mom, yay. But apart from mom, I think I'd have to say Meryl Streep. I mean, there's so many things I have read about her, but one of the things that kind of stood out for me was when she was, I think it was in the 70s, she was auditioning for the King Kong, one of the reincarnations of that film. And she was thought, no, you're brilliant, you're fantastic, but you're not pretty enough. And she was like, nah, whatever, move on. And 3, 4, 5 Oscars later, it's all good. She is awesome. She's a force, she is.
You
can't do it wrong. She's fantastic.
I love stories like that. I love stories that inspire other people. Like, obviously, it's not nice to hear that happened to somebody at the time, but to see, oh, well, if that person can do that and overcome what everybody else said to them, then that means that, like, I can do it too. And I love that kind of inspirational thing. So I like to think that Meryl Streep's inspired a lot of people. Yeah,
I think so. I mean, it's obviously it's a very fickle industry, the film industry, right? And it is based on looks a lot of the time. And she's not conventionally beautiful, or she's not considered. But it's at the end of the day, it was her talent that kind of broke through all of that barriers. And it's like, and she didn't take it personally. It's like, okay, whatever, I don't care. This is not the opinion that matters to me. This is not what I do it. I'm just gonna go for it. And she did. And
yes, shout out to Meryl Streep. Yes,
maybe she's watching.
That leads.
Have you guys
mine? Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say it's a bit like Daisy May Cooper, isn't it? Have you guys seen what's going on with her at the minute? Pretty similar thing where she's kind of like busting the doors down of what they say you can and can't do and stuff. And I think it's pretty similar to what you said there.
Nice.
One to research about straight after this. Definitely. My inspirational women from my life, shout out, we've had a lot of shout out to the moms, Daggercast and Games Guru, shout out the moms. Dalzola shouted out the mom too. Big shout out to my mum, love my mum to bits. Always love a hardworking single parent that's paving the way to get things done. So shout out to my mum. And then Barbra Streisand. So just a lot of love for the pioneer of the film and music industry that is Barbra Streisand. And then there's so many fierce women like Tina Turner. There's just so many. I'm just thinking Eartha Kitt. There's just all these names. So, Aretha Franklin. It's a lot of women, a lot of great women. But yeah, just talk about women.
Yes, and guys, put some other things in the chat as well. Just let us know who inspires you.
Yes,
it would be great throwing some names around. So if we don't know, then we can go and research and learn. That'd be awesome.
100%. And there's a few tech names in there as well, and we will get on to tech-related women straight after quickfire questions. So without further ado, it is the time of the stream where we talk about quickfire questions. We don't talk about quickfire questions. We answer quickfire questions. So
we try.
We try. I've prepared a list of on-topic quickfire questions around protagonists in video games, female protagonists in particular, and we're going to do a versus. So it's, I will say, this protagonist versus this protagonist, and you have to pick who. It's up to you how you do it, whether it's like somebody that inspires you the most or somebody that, if they were having a fight, like which one will win. It's up to you which way around you go about it, but I need a name and I need an answer. So this is an invitation for all of you guys who are watching as well to please get your answers in. So as soon as a question has been asked, tell us what your answer is too. Yep. So let's go. It's time for, and I have to do it, and I feel really sad that Tom's not here to do it with me, but it's okay. Does anyone else know how I say quickfire questions? Does anyone else want to join in? I can do it on my own. It's fine.
No,
quick
fire
questions. I love that. I might join this. This is what is needed for every single quick fire questions. Amazing. Okay, so question number 1. Ciri from the Witcher games versus Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. Ooh. We're going to go. I didn't even say which way we're going around. We will go Monika, Jess, Alicia, and then me.
Ciri at what age?
Ciri as a whole ensemble.
Versus Tomb Raider.
Versus Lara Croft.
I'd have to say Ciri.
Okay.
Purely because of the training that she's been given and the grit that she has. I mean, yeah. And, you know, Witcher is her dad. Come on. I'm just saying.
I like that your cat is also answering Ciri. I can hear Ciri in the background in meows.
Absolutely.
Jess, how about you?
I'm going to go with Lara Croft just because I've spent way more time with Lara than I have with Ciri. So I feel like I can't pick Ciri over Lara for that reason. Awesome. She's just awesome though as well. So
she's cool. They're both badass.
Yeah.
Alicia, how about you?
I'm gonna side with Monika, and I like how you said at what age, not what time. It's clever, but yeah, 100% Ciri. Yeah.
I am also siding with the majority and going with Cirilla. She's just cool. I mean, Lara is like, she's iconic. She's an iconic protagonist. But Ciri, the way she comes from this total, really, it's a very patriarchal kind of world that she comes from. 100%. And she just comes in and just like a force, and she takes people down, and she takes monsters down, and she's awesome. So yeah, I'll go with Ciri. Okay, awesome. So in the chat, we have had Tom saying Ciri, Greg says Lara, Michael says Lara, Chris says Lara, Harry says Lara, Dazma says Ciri. So there's a few, we've got across the board, we've got a few different answers there, so that's awesome. So question number 2, okay. Assassin's Creed Special, Evie Fry from Syndicate versus Eivor from AC Valhalla.
Who's answering? Not me.
You first, man. We're going around the same thing. I thought this would be really easy for you.
Yeah, Valhalla.
Yeah. Thought so.
I'm a Viking. I'm biased. I can't.
Of course you are. Of course you are. Amazing. Jess, what's your answer?
I'm going to go with Eivor as well, just because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like my Eivor has overcome quite a lot. And yeah, I just, personal Eivor.
Amazing. Alicia, how about you?
All day long, everyone knows how I feel about Vikings. So yeah, all day long. Yeah.
So I guess I'm going to stand by myself. And even though I love Valhalla a lot, Evie Fry, because she's just really cool. She's so sensible. And in the game where Syndicate's the one where you play as twins. You can play as either Jacob or you play as both. You play as Jacob and as Evie. And Jacob is this sort of like bull in the china shop attitude to everything. Let's get things done. Doesn't really matter about the consequences, but we will get it done. Whereas Evie kind of steps back and she has a plan and she's very logistical. And without that mindset, like you wouldn't be able to get things done. And she brings a lot to the game. So I'm going to go with Evie.
I did play as Evie more than Jacob. But yeah.
There's a few comments for Evie, but mostly for Valhalla.
Yeah.
Abel. Awesome. Okay, so the next one, bit different, bit of a different one. Eleanor Fisher from the Uncharted series versus Ellie from The Last of Us. Difficult.
The Last of Us. I think so. Ignore this. Mocking.
Okay.
I switched off my doorbell. Thank you.
I'm going to admit something here. I've never played Uncharted. So, and I haven't played all the way through The Last of Us.
That's fine.
So I'm going to go with Ellie. Just because I've played a little bit of that, but not Uncharted.
Go with what you know.
Is it Ellie or
How
Elle?
about you, Alicia?
So,
It's L. It's
L,
that's
isn't
just
it?
me getting it totally wrong. I'm so sorry. It's L.
so I'm
Sorry.
also going to put this out there that I've not played them, but however, I am aware of the characters, and I do think that Elle has gone through a very difficult time. Needs a bit of credit for that. So I'd definitely go with her. If I was going to be one of them, I'd want to be her.
I think they are both like really cool. I keep using the word badass, and I'm just going to use it all the way through the stream. Badass, really like young individual women, and they are very young, and they have so many things that they have to come up against and overcome. I'm going to go with Elle simply because she plays the guitar, and I just think that's really cool.
That's another level. Yes.
Yeah.
It just brings her into the musical realm, so that's why I'm going to choose Elle. Okay, we have two more to go through, and then we can crack on with the main subject of our video cast. We've had a few votes for Elle. Fisher Elle in the chat. Thank you, guys. Please continue to put your comments in because I enjoy looking at them. So the next one is Princess Zelda versus Sonja Blade from Mortal Kombat.
Oh, no.
And they're both very different. So I was trying to do like similar ones, and I thought, let's just do something that's crazy different.
I'm again going to be biased more to Kombat.
And
yeah, I mean, come on.
Sonja Blade's been there from the beginning as well. She's from the original series, so she's cool. What about you?
It's a tough one because they're so different.
They are very different.
The chat
I'm going to go with Zelda.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with Princess Zelda. Just because I feel like she does sort of carry it a little bit.
And she's a princess.
She's a princess.
She's a princess. How about you, Alicia?
Yeah, I'm going to go Zelda as well, but I think she doesn't act like a princess, and that's why. Like, she kind of, she's welcoming to everyone. She's like, really open person and stuff. So yeah, I mean, person, character, whatever, but
yeah, we're on a personal level.
Yeah,
We've had Daggercast says Zelda in the chat. We've had Sonia from JPR. We've had Zelda from Chris. We've had Sonia from the Napalm Poet, who says can't wait for the movie.
Greg. Look at Greg.
Zelda from Wiki Webster, and then Greg coming in as a savage at the end. But lucky Sonia Blade, nobody cares about Sonia. So for that reason, I'm going to pick Sonia because she's been there from the very beginning, and so has Princess Zelda. But Sonia's been there from the very beginning of Mortal Kombat, and to see a fighting game like Mortal Kombat and see a really cool woman at the beginning of it,
agreed.
the beginning of the franchise, which I think was 92. I might be wrong. Which is really, really cool. So, and the last one. We're going AI for the last one.
Oh
so
my
the last
God.
question, please put the answers in the chat. We're going AI. Cortana versus Chell, the silent protagonist from Portal. Do you remember the Portal games, which frustrate me immensely?
I mean, I think it's going to be Cortana.
Cortana. Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Oh.
Jess always looks really
really hard.
It hurts to make a decision.
It does, because I feel like I'm picking one over the other, and it's literally what I'm doing. I'm going to go with Chell. I didn't know much about her before when I was playing the games, but I've learned about her a lot recently, and I just think she's such a strong character that just kind of gets overlooked quite a lot.
She is,
yeah.
And Games Guru said Chell isn't a AI, and she's not.
She's
a science experiment, isn't she? Yeah. So.
She kind of acts as an AI for a lot of it.
Cortana, how about you?
Cortana. Oh, look at this. They're split.
I'm going to go with, for the reason that it's seen as such like I'm going to go with Cortana. Yeah. I was like, I'm trying to justify it, but I just, like, heart of hearts, I'm like, yeah, Cortana. Sorry, Jack.
I am also going to go with Cortana. Not just because Portal stresses me out immensely, because it does. But I think Cortana, AI, this is me going on a rant now, but AI in general is such a, it's such a revolution in terms of technology, and there's so much that you could do, like in the real world, to help people and innovate and make experiences better. So I think AI is awesome anyway. And then if you look at the evolution of Cortana and how she's actually become part of the Windows and Microsoft AI systems, it's just really, really cool. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Cortana.
Just always going for the underdog.
We've had Cortana. We've had a lot of votes for Cortana in the chat.
I admit, I thought you was going to say GLaDOS instead of Chell at first when we were talking about AIs.
I'm sorry. Next time, hey Jess, next time you can help me write the quick 5 questions. That is the end of the quick 5 questions. So thank you so much for everybody in chat for putting your answers in. Thank you so much, guys, for partaking, because they are never scripted. Nobody knows what I'm going to say. Sometimes even I don't know what I'm going to say. So really appreciate you hopping on board with quick 5 questions. So
okay,
that leads us to the topic of our videocast, which is International Women's Day. Women from Microsoft, women from tech, women from Xbox, women from gaming, all of it. And we're going to talk about all of it. So I've got a few questions for everybody. We will go in the opposite order. Yeah, we're going to go in the opposite order. So we do Alicia first, then Jess, then Monica. I'm looking at my screen. And then me. And first question is, so it's up to you how you want to answer this. So I'd love to know, we'd all love to know, and people in the chat, if you have an answer as well, please let us know. Either a journey in the video games industry or your own journey in tech. If you could talk a little bit about just what's inspired you. So looking at somebody else's journey in video games and in the gaming industry, or your own journey. What's inspired you as a female? Please take it away, Alicia.
So I have always had an interest in gaming, like always been quite obsessively spent all my free time on gaming and stuff, right? Like I'm that sort of person, but I've never really been in the industry. Like I've never been a part of that community in a way. I kind of just played the one-player games and that sort of stuff, right? But it's only when I joined this team and I met a lot of like-minded people that I then started to play multiplayer games and started in kind of online gaming, and I'm into a lot of like real real-time strategy and stuff like that, which half the game is online for those sorts of things, right? And now they're more popular than ever. So I guess this is going to sound really cheesy, but joining this team and finding other females that like gaming and finding out that it's that I find that inspirational, that people have come out and really welcoming community, and it's built over that time. Like, I've only been here for 5 years and I've already seen a huge change. I don't know if you guys have noticed that too, but yeah, I suppose that would be my side of it.
Awesome. We will talk about change, so that will lead us on. At least talk about that in a minute.
Right.
I think that's awesome, and it's really cool for your looking at your own experience and how you've seen that personally with you. I think that's awesome. Would you describe yourself as a sort of a woman in gaming now?
Yeah,
I would. I'd describe you as that. 100%.
Yeah, like I think it's having that confidence. Like we did what was it called? We did like an event a little while ago where I had to. There was I think it was for S4C, where they were going around and they're asking questions. It was in Welsh, mind, so I don't think anyone would understand it if they watched it back. But they were asking about the gender split and stuff like that, and it was interesting. Like, it's only when you ask the questions directly, like I guess you are to us now, that you notice that, oh, okay, yeah, wow, I have got a lot of opinions on this topic, and I have kind of become part of it rather than looking from the outside in,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which is
definitely
awesome. Jess, how about you?
This is going to sound very, very cheesy, but
hey, it's not going to sound cheesy. It's going to sound inspirational. That's
just
what we're
you
replacing the word
wait.
cheesy with today.
Just you wait. So in terms of gaming, my dad got me into gaming when I was like a very, very young kid, and I used to play with my brother and stuff. But I was kind of the same. I didn't really have that many friends that played games. It wasn't really an accepted thing or anything. And I never really thought about working in the industry at all. I used to stream on Twitch and stuff. I say used to, so trying to do, and play video games and stuff. But I never really thought about going into it as a career until I saw what you was doing, Hannah.
Yeah,
and I was like, I want to do that.
I posted that there was a job going.
Yeah,
and
I'd seen what you'd been doing for like years in this industry, and I was like, I want a piece of that. I want to do what Hannah does. That's why it sounds cheesy, but it's true. So yeah,
but you've definitely stamped your own stamp on everything that you do. So
thanks.
Kudos. We're all going to get
Thanks
emotional.
for inspiring me.
Hey, we should definitely celebrate each other's achievements. And yeah. You're all awesome. You're all amazing. Monika, how about you? Is there anybody in the video game industry that's inspired you, or anything inspiring in your own journey in tech?
It's a weird one because I'm one of the originals. Sounds really like I'm very old.
Yes, the OG. You are the OG.
Yeah, I've been here for over 10 years. And when I started, for the last 9 years, I was the only female on the evangelist team. So, and all my bosses were boys as well. So the only person I can think of that was kind of that, person I could look up to and see how they do it was all in the old days was Anne Price, who used to work for Microsoft, and she was the boss. And she was the one who kind of changed my role slightly. He's cutting in, of course he is. And she made sure that, I was working at that time with another guy, and when I was brought in, she, just ignore it.
That's just the most wholesome sound.
He ensured that my contract was equal to his, which I didn't realize till later when I saw my paycheck and everything else. Like, oh, what happened? So she was the one that was fighting for me, and she had a very to the point way of speaking, which didn't sit very well with some people because it could feel quite abrupt and quite short, but that's just the way she was, like da, 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 done. So I don't know whether because she was a female and people were not used to having it from a woman, or whether because people were taking it personally that she was attacking them, or she was like really, trying to get her point across and nobody else's voice mattered. That wasn't the case. But yeah, I think she was probably the one that was like, oh, so you can be like that. Okay, that's fine. I can speak my mind and, people will actually listen. Okay, cool. So I'm very much to the point, which again, some people take it like, oh, I don't want to speak to her because she's going to tell me as it is. It's like, yeah, I will. Sorry, deal with it. I know what you people talk behind my back. It's fine. I think so. Yeah, she was probably the strong female at Microsoft that I kind of saw for the first time to be almost like a typical male boss, and she did really, really well. And I was like, okay. And I was confirmed when I was speaking to some other women at Microsoft in terms of, you don't have to, you can have your integrity and you don't have to change the way you are to fit somebody else's perception of what a female boss must be like. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. Yay, okay. I can do this. I can wear a hoodie. It's fine. So that was probably the lady that I would say was the one at Microsoft specifically.
That's amazing.
Okay, that was really
That's really cool that you've identified something that she used to do that you've actually taken on board and harnessed and you do yourself, which is awesome. Do you find that being, I guess, to the point in a working situation, does that help you? Does that work, I guess?
Yeah, I think over the years, because I was the only female, I feel like I have a different perception and I can add something different to the table. So if I just sit there, not say anything, that's never going to get heard. So you have to be brave enough to say it and stick to it and, ask people to see it from your point of view as well. Absolutely. I think it's important that we say what we have to say. Don't just sit there and let other people talk over you and, compromise. Yeah.
Well, Monika, you're very inspirational and you have been in the team a long time. And I tell you what people say behind your back. They say, Monika gets stuff done. She gets things done. You need something doing, she'll get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because you can see it being done. It's really fun,
Yeah. It's the right attitude to have, 100%. There's been a few things said in the chat. So Rich recognizes Anne, and Rich said Anne was a powerful woman, which is awesome. Games Guru has been alluding to gender within gaming and saying that this is quite nice. The term gamer isn't specific to a gender. It's a generalized term for anybody that plays games. I like that. That's nice. So my second question for you guys is, and it's alluding is the word of the day.
Wait. What about you?
Yeah, you answered.
What's the question?
Oh, God. I'm not just the host. I have to actually answer the questions too. Thanks, Monika.
Anytime.
What about me? What was the question? Oh, women in video games and women who inspire me on my journey. So I'm definitely inspired by the people I work with all the time. So having this videocast now and speaking to you guys is very inspirational to me. I think it's awesome. I think it is really cool to celebrate the people around you in your tight little close-knit circle, wherever that is, and like harness what people are doing and celebrate what people are doing. I think it's really important. And then there are people in the gaming industry. I was looking into a while ago a lady called Bonnie Ross, who is the head of 343 Industries Halo at Microsoft. And there's a quote of hers that I really like that I'm going to say if I can find it. On one of these tabs, because I have loads of tabs open. It's this one. And she has been inducted into the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences Hall of Fame, and that was in February 2019, for all of her work in video games. She's worked on Gears, she's worked on Zoo Tycoon, which is awesome because I used to love Zoo Tycoon back in the day. But her most, I guess, famous one that she's worked on is Halo, and she's worked on a lot of the Halo franchise. And she's got this quote that says, from her own personal experience, she realized that gaming is technology empowering art or creativity or storytelling. And I thought that was really, really cool because as a female in that industry, to recognize that, I mean, gaming can sometimes, a lot of the time, just be branded as something that people do. Like, oh, it's something that they do when they're bored, or it's something that's immersive and it gets you out of your everyday life into an immersive new world, but which is cool in itself. But just honing it down into empowering art, not just something to do, but empowering art or creativity or storytelling, and the fact that it empowers each one of those sort of genres, that it's an empowering thing. I was just like, that is really cool. That is awesome. And yeah, so I'm researching more and more all the time into Bonnie Ross because she's just really, really cool. So if anybody, you can follow her on Twitter. She's awesome. So I think she's somebody that I think is a pioneer for the gaming industry, the video game industry itself.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that was mine.
Second question.
Cool. The second question for you guys, and these people who are watching in the chat, if you want to say, because this is a general question. So if you think I have an opinion on this, then please put it into the chat. But I wanted to talk a little bit about representation and the representation of women in video games, how it's changed, where we are now, and if there's a specific game that really resonates with you about that journey. So if there's a game that you think, oh, well, it started here and now it's here, or a game that's come out recently that you think this is where the sort of, I'm going to say pioneering a lot, pioneering and words of the day, that pioneers the equality, the gender equality, and just the empowerment of women within video games, if that makes sense as a question. Alicia, please go first.
Yeah, so good question. So I guess like in the 90s when I started gaming, right, I was starting with games like Final Fantasy, which I played to death, right? And a lot of the female characters, which I loved those characters, but they were love interests, you know, like, or they were support roles, or they were there for, I don't know, medic roles in games, you know what I mean? Those sort of like support backup type things, or to help the storyline progress or something like that. And I think we've come a long way since then. You still get that, but I think they weren't strong protagonists then. You know, they were more support roles. And even looking at Tomb Raider, it's gone from describing her as like, you know, this kind of, yes, she was cool and she was strong and whatever. It's given more of a backstory now, isn't it? Like where you're like, okay, yeah, she is a strong, it's not just because of her dad and what he did. It's like her character is strong as well. Like she's a really cool person, not just inheriting this role or house from her dad. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it has come a long way.
I think Tomb Raider is a very good example as well of how, I guess, the objectification of women has just shifted massively, because Lara was, that's how she started out as, yes, like you said, she was cool and strong, but there was such an objectification around her as a female character, and that has totally just shifted, which is awesome.
Yeah. Good point.
Jess, how about you?
So whenever I like think about this topic, it's always about like how characters look in video games. So going on the objectification side of things, like back in the day, especially with like fighting games and stuff, all the characters had been scantily clad outfits and stuff. And, you know, as a young girl growing up and seeing that, it wasn't exactly the best representation of any women in games. And it wasn't always the case, but for the most part it is. I think recently, the way I've seen that change is even it's not all changed. So there is still characters that are wearing more like sultry outfits, would you say? So for an example of this is Poison Ivy in the Arkham games. She has still got quite a sexy outfit, as you say. But I feel like alongside that now, they've got a proper backstory, as Alicia was saying. Like there's more to the character than just being there for eye candy now. So even if they are portrayed that way, it's more to do with the character rather than it just being that it's there for the sake of it, because that's what men want to see while they're playing games. Like there's a reason behind it. Like Poison Ivy is the type of person that she is, and that is the type of outfit that she'd wear, and you can see that through the character as she's portrayed.
Like she's the way she's written, isn't it? It's like she uses that to get what she wants, right?
Exactly. And like there's a reason for it to look that way rather than it just being for the sake of it. And I think as well, like when there isn't a reason for it, it has shifted now. So for example, the Assassin's Creed games are perfect for this, because especially the last two, because there is the male and female versions, the armor doesn't change that much between the two. So it's not like, oh, you've got the full armor set for the male version, and then for the female version, it's just like a bra, which is what it used to be. Like that was the two choices between the two. So there's there's been a lot of progress, but also if there's not been appearance progress, there's a reason for it, which I think that itself has come a long way.
Definitely. I agree. And I think it's awesome as well, because it's not just like everybody plays video games, as Derek was saying before, the word gamer is for everybody, and whoever you are, you want to be comfortable playing as that person, and you want to understand why that person is the character that they are, and it makes so much sense. We talk about Poison Ivy there, and how her, I guess, character arc has developed, and how how she is who she is. And it has to be empowering, because for you to play a game, you have to want to be that person. So you want to be empowered, you want to make whatever change it is that whether it's a bad change or a good change, whatever moral compass that character has, you still want to be able to do it. So awesome. How about you, Mon?
For me, this is what Alicia said. Lara Croft stands out as the one that kind of morphed and changed into more realistic looking character, with depth and layers and backstory, and actually being a formed human rather than just a character that people want to look at. But I suppose if you look at Hellblade, even as a protagonist, right? She is in no way made to look like the 90s version of what guys want to look at, right? She is who she is. She's a warrior, and the way she's dressed, the way she even her facial expressions are not attractive in any way, shape, or form. But again, that's because they're not focusing on the aesthetics of it. It's all about why she is the way she is, and her backstory, and and the game and the experience, and not necessarily the beauty of it. It is a beautiful game, but it's not the usual standard for beauty, is she? And also think about what I haven't played that game, Halo, with the female protagonist. That would have never happened in the past, right? They were all male characters, and now you've got the female as well. So I think we're getting there. We're definitely getting there, and people are starting to get it. But also, I think it comes from women telling them what that's not right. You can't do that. It's not right. So I think we found a voice somewhere along the way in the last 20 years, and it's being heard now, which makes all the difference in the world. And we are getting more women developers in the video games. So they're adding their own kind of spin on it, which I'm sure is needed. It's like in the film industry, if it is a female story and there's a male director, sometimes it's not presented the right way, because he cannot put himself in female shoes, right? So like the Wonder Woman, they're both directed by the same woman for a reason, because it's a woman's story, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a huge step forward, and the results are amazing. I really love it.
Hellblade is definitely an awesome one. It's a wicked example, especially if we're talking about underrepresentation. So not only is it a female protagonist, solely female protagonist, but then you have the mental health story behind there as well. So to have both of that in a game, and it's such like a blockbuster title. It is an awesome game.
Yeah,
it's brilliant. It's so good.
It's a great shout.
Yeah, totally.
So I always forget I have to answer. So for me, so I've kind of jumped in on everybody's there. A game for me where I kind of realized just how sort of, I guess, open the platform for creation and representation is, and how we're moving forward, and we should be moving forward, and it is exactly what we should be doing, is Tell Me Why. So Tell Me Why, if you've not played it, I think it's still on Game Pass. It is an awesome game where you get different episodes. It's a storytelling game, and you go in and you click things and things happen. But it follows the story of somebody who was female and then transitions to male. So I think because of this underrepresentation in video games that is there, and we're slowly getting through, and the hashtag at the moment for International Women's Day is Choose to Challenge. So like, we are choosing to challenge, and it's very clear that in the developers realm, people are choosing to challenge too. And to be able to play a character who's gone through everything that they've gone through in their own story, in their own life, and then they're going through an actual gender transition as well, I think it's amazing. It is really, really amazing that's where we are. And it makes me think that it's because everything that we want to talk about as well is sort of changing mindsets and choosing to challenge, changing mindsets, and just opening and paving the way for these new representations. So it's a game, I think, that will do that, and it's won awards, and I think it will just continue to push out into the just open realms of representation. I think we'll benefit from that being such a good game today.
Have a look.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The chat is buzzing as well.
The chat is buzzing. So Daggercast says, "Tell Me Why, such a brilliant story and challenges many beliefs, a very good game." Games Guru says, hoping for more like it in terms of Tell Me Why. There's a lot of paragraphs. Games Guru says, Soul Calibur and Dead or Alive games see the different in terms of representation of male and female characters. And it's something that will change and will continue to change.
Yeah.
So everybody has spoken about technology, and I think Alicia said something. I was like, I need to reference that because that comes to our next point, but then I totally forgotten what you said. I'm so sorry. But we have a clip to play. Monika, do you want to introduce this clip that we're going to play?
Yes, so this was recorded last week, and it's women in Xbox. So you've got 4 amazing women that fell into the gaming industry. They've all admitted that it wasn't the plan. It just happened to become their careers. And they all have very different paths that they've taken. One comes from animation background, who dreamt of being an animator at Disney, ended up at Xbox. The other one was co-founder of Ninja, right? Am I correct? Yes, I think so. There's a lady that founded one of the studios. There is a marketing lady in there, Rose, I think. And the American lady, I forgot her name. Oh my God, so bad.
We've got Nina, Mary, and Rose.
Yes. So yes, I think it's Mary. She looks after hundreds of people at Xbox. And again, it wasn't something that she ever thought she would be doing, she fell into it. But they all agree that where they are now is probably the most exciting industry that they can be in. The interview itself, I think, is like 50 minutes. So we're just going to play a snippet of 6 minutes so you can have a look. But they all look after a different section in the gaming at Xbox, at Microsoft. So just have a listen, because they are very inspiring. So why not?
Thank you, Monika. So it is Table Talk. We'll play it now, and we'll have a little chat about it afterwards. So please get your comments in and tell us what you think.
Welcome to a very special Women of Xbox UK video discussion. Today we're celebrating International Women's Day, and the theme of this year's International Women's Day is Choose Challenge. So I'm very, very excited to be a part of this discussion. So I'd like to introduce you to, first of all, the wonderful Mary McGuane, who is Chief of Staff at Xbox Game Studios. Hi, Mary.
Hi.
I've got Nina Christensen, who is co-founder and Chief Development Ninja at Ninja Theory. And finally, we've got the wonderful Rose Boyan, who is the Senior Category Manager at Xbox. Welcome, ladies. So today is International Women's Day. So I thought we could start chatting about, and I'd love to learn a little bit more about your journeys into the games industry and where you are now. Nina, let's start with you, because you have a really interesting journey. I believe you used to be in the graphics side of things, and obviously you became a co-founder of the amazing studio that is Ninja Theory. How did you co-found a whole entire studio?
I think a lot of it is just being probably a little bit naive and quite ambitious at the same time. I did start out as a graduate artist. That's how I first started in games, which was awesome. And after about 4 years in the industry, I'd sort of moved into more management-y type positions, and someone I worked with approached me and said, "Do you want to start a company?" And I said, "Sure."
Good answer.
And I think, I think this is quite a good point, though, because for me, starting a company seemed quite natural. And I'm from Australia originally, and in Australia, it's quite common for people to start companies and have side businesses. And as part of my degree, I studied industrial design. Part of my degree was about how you start business. So it wasn't a sort of a big scary leap. Obviously, it was a big move, but it was like, sure, I'm young, I've got no commitments, and I think we could do a good job of it. So yeah, absolutely.
So you have. Amazing. Mary, what about you? Because you've obviously come, through a very different way than Nina and Rose. So how did you end up as Chief of Staff at Xbox Game Studios?
Well, I love this question because it certainly wasn't a straight line, right? It's been more like Katamari Damacy of me just rolling this ball and getting experience and background and skills and knowledge, which has led to more and more opportunities. I actually have a background in journalism. That's what I got my degree in. And before I graduated, I was working professionally as a writer, doing music and entertainment and on the radio. And then after I graduated, I was working for a startup publication in the Silicon Valley, and it folded, as they're wont to do. And I took what I thought at that time would be this short-term gig doing human resources, and I ended up loving it. I ended up having a great mentor and really enjoying being part of a big business and learning how all the little pieces work. 2001, I came to Microsoft and started working with the Xbox Silicon team, and they were designing the chips for Xbox 360. A few years later, I moved up to Seattle and started working with the leadership team that was shipping Xbox 360 and working on Xbox Live. And And it was a wild ride. You know, it was a ton of fun. It was a lot of challenges, a lot of new work. Enjoyed the people, enjoyed being in gaming. And then after we shipped, one of the VPs said, hey, would you be interested in making a career change and leaving HR and coming and working on the business side and be my business manager? And I helped him run about 1,000-person organization, right? And the rest, as they say, is kind of history. I've sort of taken roles that have been very similar but very progressive in nature, that have done had to do with gaming and running large organizations, and it's been a blast.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Rose, you have, well, you've worked at some other studio that isn't Xbox before this, but again, you've got a very different journey into the industry, and you've been doing this a long time as well. So how did you get here?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I fell into gaming. I did a marketing and psychology degree at university, but I wasn't quite sure, as most people are, how I was going to use it to craft my career. And I just saw an advert in a high street recruiter, not even a specialist games recruiter, and it was for an international games coordinator, and it just so happened to be at IDOS. I applied and got the job, and that became my entrance into the industry. And, you know, I fell in love with the industry, and I've stayed in the industry since, you know, around 20 years now. And I've held mostly marketing positions, sales and marketing positions, mostly marketing in large and indie publishers such as Warner Brothers and PlayStation, Curve Digital, and now Xbox. I've been at Xbox for a year now, and I love it.
That's amazing. I love that. I think it's so interesting because we kind of caught up a little bit last week, didn't we? And we were like, I think most of us, well, all of us, fell into the games industry by accident. I remember, so like, because for me,
just we're all there, just like,
really.
So that is my watching pose, everybody.
You can tell that we're all really engaged because it just shocked us turning back.
And we're back in the room. So in the interest of time, because we've had a lot of conversations, just want to go around and just get your first opinions. What is it that kind of has resonated with you from that 6-minute snippet? Should we start with Monika and go back around that way?
Yeah, I think the overarching message from this for me personally was, you know, don't focus on one thing, try different things. It's almost like you don't necessarily know what your end goal is going to be. I mean, you have an idea, but it might shift and be adaptable enough to take that route, because it might take you to your real passion you never knew you had, which is what happened with these people, these women, right? Like one of them, animator at Disney. I mean, drop that dream. It's hard, right? It's hard, but she ended up doing something for Rare, which she absolutely loves. So yeah, I think just you know, do your side quests, because they might lead you somewhere.
Yeah,
you never knew.
That is another T-shirt that we need producing.
Yes, please.
Greg,
I
email you later.
Yes, amazing. Jess, how about you?
It's funny because I had a similar conversation literally yesterday with Chris. Like, one of the things that I keep picking up on that they keep saying is the fact that they didn't think they were going to be working in this industry. And I had that conversation last night of just saying about the fact that I can't quite believe where I am right now, because when I was younger, I never would have thought that I would be working for a company that, you know, made stuff that I was using when I was a kid. Like, it completely baffles me. And it is that thing of like what Monika said, do your side quest, because you never know where you're going to end up. So just go for it and see what happens, and just believe in yourself. And yeah, I think that's the really key message that they've all sort of ran with whatever has happened, and now look where they are. Like, it's really inspiring. And yeah, it's do your side quests.
Yes, Greg.
Can we get some dungarees with that on as well? Just going to throw that out there.
Yep. We can get that made. I'll get on the design.
Yes, amazing. Alicia, how about you? What messaging resonated with you?
Yeah, the same thing really. I mean, like you guys have said, like I think the bit that shone for me is that they were open about it. Like they kind of were all talking to each other about their journeys. They were open with, oh, you know, that I didn't have this in my sights, or that wasn't 100% my plan. Like, it takes confidence to admit that, like, and to basically say to each other, like, oh yeah, I've had a similar thing. Or so I quite like we are now, having those open discussions with each other and supporting each other is like just as important as having that confidence in yourself. So I think I think that really stood out, that even these women in high positions are still having those conversations with each other, and yeah, it's really, really good to see.
Definitely. I really want to watch the rest of it, because I feel like there's some amazing information in there. And yeah, it's exactly the same with me. I think it's so, especially in this day and age, this time that we live in, where we've been stuck. A lot of people have felt stuck and felt like don't really know where we're going, because we've not been able to really go anywhere. So sometimes it can really affect you. But I think whatever journey you are on, it's still your journey, and you don't necessarily always know where it's going, but it could end up somewhere magical and spectacular. And I think that definitely the messaging. I love Do Your Side Quest. That's the best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I mean, you collect this swag on your side quest.
I know. And it's so true, because that's how you build up to be who you are. And you know, there's so many things. This is so philosophical, but there's so many things that you take from every experience that you have, and it makes you you. So I think that's definitely what I took from that, and that it's okay to sort of shuffle along and do what you're doing, because you never know where it's going to lead to. Exactly. Do side quests. I love that.
That's so
it's so good. We've reached time. I just want to say thank you so much to Alicia and to Jess and to Monika for being here. I've really enjoyed myself. I'd love to do this again as like
I think we should wait for one day a year to do this. You know?
Yeah, exactly. We shouldn't. Greg, we're gonna do this again on a buy something basis. We'll figure out the logistics. Yeah. It'd be wicked to do this again. Any last words from you guys before we close off?
Do your
I was waiting for Monika to say that.
Do your side quest.
Do your side quest.
Do your side quest. Well, thank you so much. Monika, you and I will be back tomorrow evening
over and over again.
Women in Tech special, and then we're back on Wednesday on Level Up, where we'll be playing Control with a female protagonist. So that would be awesome. So thank you so much for being here and for watching and for celebrating women in gaming with us. So we'll see you soon.
Speak to you later.
Bye.
Bye.